Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Hope you guys are feeling great. My name is Danilo Caprick, aka still the best dressed man in tech sales. And what we're going to go over right now in this video is answering the question of, can my job in tech sales be remote? And we want to answer this question because a lot of folks out there are asking, are all tech sales jobs remote? Do I have the option? Is it something I have to earn? Don't worry, we're going to answer all those questions right now. All right, so for those of us who are interested in tech sales, I gotta say there's some good news, which is more and more companies now are adopting a remote first policy. What that means is they are finding that it's actually advantageous for them to do remote work because guess what? It's cheaper, they don't have to spend money on offices, and generally speaking, employees tend to like it a little bit more. So that's the good news, is that more and more companies are adopting this, but there's two things you should be aware of. Number one, if you are looking for a remote sales job in tech, it's probably best to go with younger companies, aka startups. And you're gonna wanna go with these types of companies because they tend to have a more friendly policy and attitude towards remote work. The reason for this is because oftentimes they can't pay the super high salaries that a well-established company that's been around for 50 years can. And because they can't pay the salary or give those kind of incentives, they have to do whatever else they can to attract and retain talent to come and work for them. So remote work is kind of one of the easiest things for them to offer because it doesn't cost them any money and it actually saves them money. So if you're interested in work from home jobs in tech, I highly recommend you look at younger companies as opposed to more well-established ones. Now, when it comes to working for a larger, more established company that's been around for maybe 50 plus years, you can still work remote, but it's just going to be a little bit more difficult and you might have to earn it. And the reason for this is because think about it, if a company's been around for 50, 60, 70 years, chances are everybody's been working in that office for that amount of time. So they have this culture that's very used to the idea of everybody coming in, everyone having that in-person interaction. So because of that, what you can find in most large companies is that nowadays they will let you earn it. What I mean by this is you might have to work in an office for a couple of years, show that you can be successful, and then once you show your success and you build trust with the company, then they will let you work remotely. That is exactly what happened to me. A couple of years back, I was working in an office in 2015, did well in 2015 and 2016, and then I earned the ability to work remotely. So that is the perspective from a big company. You can still work from home, but it is less likely and you might have to earn it, okay? Now, the other option when it comes to remote work that you might find more and more these days is the hybrid policy. Hybrid meaning that you can do some days in the office, some days remote. It's not necessarily like you're in the office 24/7 or you're remote 24/7. It's literally hybrid, so a little bit of both. And you can find that really independent of company size. I think that more large organizations today tend to adopt that hybrid approach because they still want to keep that in the office mix, but give employees the freedom of being remote. So that's another option that you can look for, is the hybrid option where you'll do a little bit of both. And honestly, I find that that tends to be a really good mix for some people. So it just depends on your personality, what you're looking for, what you like, how you like to work, but definitely consider the hybrid option as well. The other thing to keep in mind is the headquarters of the company. What I mean by this is if you want to increase the likelihood of you being remote, what you can do is choose to work in a place that is far away or has a lot of distance between you and the company HQ, because the company HQ is where the office is going to be, right? If a company is based in California, let's say in San Francisco, that's probably where their office is. If you live in Denver and they don't have an office, boom, now you kind of have no choice but to be remote. And maybe they have a co-working space there or something like that. But oftentimes that is another way that you can increase the likelihood of you being remote, is by putting some distance between where you are and where the HQ is. For example, my company is based in San Fran, but I live in Miami. So there's no office here. So here I am in my own co-working space, completely remote. All right, guys, so the last thing for you to keep in mind when it comes to working remotely in tech sales is that yes, you may be remote 24/7, but you still might have some expectation to be visiting clients in your city, okay? So for example, again, I live in Miami, my company is based in San Francisco, but I do have clients all around Florida, even in Tampa, Orlando, different cities. And guess what? I am expected to go and visit them in person. So while I might be working remotely most of the time, I do have the expectation of going to see those clients in person. Now, for me personally, I think this is one of the most enjoyable parts of the job, to actually go see clients, take them out to dinner, go shake hands with them, talk business in real life. But some of you might not even think about that as part of the job. So make sure you're considering that as you look at these different roles, because if your clients are in your city, there probably will be some expectation for you to go see them. But like I said, most of you hopefully will enjoy that and actually find it fun, because that is, again, one of my favorite parts of the job. So something else to keep in mind again is that you might have to go see your clients despite being remote. All right, guys, so I hope this video has taught you a little bit more about what to look for in the companies when it comes to finding your perfect remote role in tech. We talked a little bit about younger companies versus more well-established companies. We talked about fully remote versus hybrid. We talked about scenarios where you might have to earn it as well. So hopefully this gives you a little bit more insight into how you can increase the likelihood of finding your remote job in tech. And with that said, guys, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button below. Also, if you're not doing it already, please go follow me on LinkedIn, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy.